Hi artists, it's Mrs. Altieri. Today I wanted to do a demonstration for you on how you can use graphic art and art on a computer to enhance your artwork. We just learned about Kehinde Wiley and how he gets to view his backgrounds digitally on the computer before he selects them. A lot of artists use the computer for references. A lot of artists create and manipulate photos. And we are going to create a stamp self-portrait using a filter in a program called Photopea or Photopea. That is a free online program that you can use with your Chromebook. It's very similar to Photoshop. I have online a step-by-step list of how to create a stamp of yourself using Photopea. If you like step-by-step directions, access that on the assignment or ask me for it. If you prefer videos, this video will be for you because I'm going to demo how to do it. Maybe you do both. I also have handouts, so you can look at the handout, you can watch the video, and you can do it as well. So here we go. We are going to open a new tab, and we're going to go to photopea.com. There we are. And we are not even going to open a new project. We are going to first just kind of look and see how things are going in here. Okay, got some different options across the top gray bar here. And I'm actually going to go to File in the upper left-hand corner. And I'm going to select Open More. And it gives you the option to take a picture. You might have to enable it or allow it first, but click Take a Picture. Maybe there's a pop-up. In my case, there's not. And you're going to take a selfie. And I want you to think about the background. You either want a very plain background, so I'm standing against my window shade, or you want a very intentional patterned background. So for example, maybe I come over here and I have these cool paintbrushes in the background and I'll get really close or have a friend help me. So be very intentional about your background. You don't just want like random things like that. Be intentional about your background, especially if you're doing this at home. And this doesn't have to be the most fabulous of pictures because it's going to change a lot. But whenever you're ready, you go to take a picture. You can smile or not smile, serious, however you want. And it'll say a new project was created. Doesn't look like anything happened because my camera's still live, but you can X out this window. Bye. And there you are. Voila. Now we have to do a couple things. We're going to crop this down a little bit. And you'll notice now that I have an image in here, I have all these tools. I have a toolbar on the left. I have underneath my file edit image, I have like other things here. I got stuff on the right. I have a lot of options. So we're going to go to the toolbar first. And for me, it's the second one down. It might be a little different for you, but if I hover over it, it's called Rectangle Select. You're going to click on that tool. And what happens is the options change along the top here. So this is more options for each tool. So with the Rectangle Select tool, instead of Refine Edge Free, there's a little drop down next to Free. And we're going to change that to Fixed Ratio. And we're going to change the ratio W, the width, from 1 to 2. And the height is going to be 3. So I'm going to do a ratio. Oh my gosh, look at it on my face. Now instead of a little arrow, I have this cursor. I start in the upper left-hand corner where I want to crop my head. And I click, I hold, I pull, and I'm going to select a rectangle. And you could tell it's like, well, as you're doing it, you won't have choices to move it over. It's kind of fixed. Once you let go, you can see I can move it around a little, so I might move it. If you don't like the way it came out, if you hold Control and the letter D at the same time, it disappears. You could do it again. It should stay fixed ratio on the top, and you can go ahead and create your rectangle. Boop, and again, you can move it. Now, once you have your rectangle, you kind of leave it, and we are going to crop the image down to just more of your face. You really want to focus in on your face. So now up at the top here, I got the tools, I have the tool options, but I'm going to go not File, not Edit, but Image. And I'm going to go to crop towards the bottom. So image crop. And now I have my cropped image. If that dotted line drives you crazy, you can hit Control D again and the dotted line goes away. And now we want to make this 4 inches by 6 inches. So 4 inches wide by 6 inches tall. And we're doing that because that's the size of the carving block I'm going to give you. Ooh. So we are going to go back to this image. There's a lot of things you could do with image. We go to image and image size. And we have to change a lot of things in this box. And the first thing that I change, and this is on your handout if you're not sure, is I'm changing pixels to inches because I just want to make sure it matches my printing block. And the width we're going to change to 4 and the height to 6. And I usually change the DPI, the dots per inch, to about 200. 72 is usually what you use to publish online. Higher than that is for printing purposes, which we're going to do. So I'm going to hit OK. And again, that's all in your handout. And I made myself a lot bigger. Now I want to play with filters. One great thing about Photoshop and Photo P is they have filters. So along the top here, I'm going to go to Filter, Filter Gallery. And I'm going to scroll down to the stamp filter. Now, filters do take a lot of processing. So sometimes it goes really, really, really slow. So I clicked on stamp, but it's going to be really slow. I'm also inverted. Now, on the right-hand side of the stamp filter, there's options like a light dark balance, a smoothness. Smoothness is how many little details you can say. Right now, there's a lot of details. We are going to be carving, so that feels a little overwhelming to me. So generally, I changed my smoothness to somewhere between 10 or 15. But you can play with that a little. Just don't get too frustrated because it takes a long time to change. I don't know if you saw the change happened. I kind of like that a little bit. But play with it, but go slow. Usually at the top, light dark balance around 25, smoothness between 10 and 15 is a great starting point. You can change it, but just be very patient. Then you hit OK. And hopefully it will go back to your main screen and apply the filter. But again, you have to be really patient. So there's my filter. And if you want, you can, go back and go to Filter, Filter Gallery and change it. If you feel like it's not the contrast of dark to light that you want, you can play with things on the handout that I gave you. Like if your image is not black and white, you go to image adjustments. There's a lot of things under image here that you can play with. So image, there's a lot of adjustments. Like I can adjust the brightness contrast. I can invert it. You can play around with a lot of things. So if you want it like really to be black and white, play around with that. You get a lot of contrast. But basically we want it to look like you've just stamped your face. So we're creating a stamp of ourselves.